Thanks, Dina. My name is Al Dove. I'm Director of Research and Conservation at Georgia Aquarium, and I'm delighted to be standing under this amazing sculpture and have a chance to bring the story of plastic pollution in the oceans right into the heart of Atlanta. And to do that, I'd like to tell you a story a little bit. Back in January, I was in St. Helena. And St. Helena is a tiny island in the middle of the South Atlantic, and I went there to study the whale sharks that are such a prominent feature of the collection that we have at Georgia Aquarium right across the park. It was an arduous journey, back-to-back red-eye flights, 5 days on a ship, to a tiny rock in the middle of the South Atlantic, about halfway between Angola and Brazil. Right smack in the middle of the South Atlantic Gyre, this giant circular current that rotates in the center of each ocean basin. And as I said, I went there to study whale sharks. It's a tiny place. There's about 3,000 people who live there. No cell phones, most credit cards not accepted, spotty satellite internet access. And without an airport yet, they are still only reachable by ship, which means that tourism is limited to 600 people per year. So this place is about as close as you can get to untouched as there is left on this planet. There is one beach in St. Helena. It's a black sand beach flanked by tall volcanic cliffs that surround the rest of the island. So naturally, I went to the one beach, as you do. But when I got there, I was dismayed to find that it was completely covered in plastic. And this was plastic not from the people of St. Helena. There aren't enough people or enough plastic in St. Helena to create that much mess. This is plastic that has traveled thousands of miles and lived for many years in the center of the South Atlantic Gyre. Bottle caps, cigarette lighters, bits of nylon rope, plastic bottles, and countless little pieces of degraded plastic that you might think were part of the natural fauna and flora, were they not such lurid shades of pink and yellow and red and blue and impossible whiteness. Now, for the whale sharks that I went to St. Helena to study, that plastic debris that I saw on the beach at Sandy Bay has become part and parcel of their normal environment. We have no idea what impact plastic pollution has on the health of a species like a whale shark, which is a filter-feeding animal. But you have to imagine that if plastic was ever going to impact an animal, a whale shark, an animal that sucks the surface tension off the ocean, would be an animal that would be very likely to be impacted by plastic pollution. Why does that matter here in Atlanta? We're 6,000 miles as the crow flies from St. Helena, and in a landlocked city. Well, it does matter, and I can give you a good reason why. So I'm sure we'll hear from our riverkeeper friend in a moment. If you were to grab an inner tube and go shoot the hooch one hot afternoon this summer, and instead of getting out at the end of the day when you're tired with the rest of your friends, you just kind of kept going, you would travel about 300 miles through Georgia and Florida and straight into the Gulf of Mexico. And the same water that laps on the beaches in Pensacola laps on the cliffs of St. Helena. The ocean is vast, it's immense, but it's not infinite, and it's globally interconnected. So it is possible to wet your feet in Atlanta and not have them dry out until you get to St. Helena. And so what we do here in Atlanta really does matter, because the ocean is downstream of everything. And the things that we throw on the ground and on the road and in the creeks and the streams and the rivers here finally end up in the ocean, to the detriment of all sorts of animals that live there. So as we're standing under this extraordinary piece of sculpture, you get a chance to look up into the helix and look at what the kids have done and the people have done in putting together all these found objects into an art piece that talks about plastic. I hope you'll think about the fact that we are the problem when it comes to plastic pollution, but we are also the solution. And it takes fairly subtle changes in behavior in order to make real differences for animals in the ocean. Just say no to the plastic straw when you get your drink. Ditch the plastic bag when you're at the store, use a cloth bag. Any one of those small changes, iterated across the 5 million or so people that live in this area, makes a real difference for the streams, for the rivers, and for the ocean, and ultimately for the whale sharks of St. Helena. So as you're looking up into this sculpture, I hope you'll think about the whale sharks of St. Helena. I hope you'll think about the seabirds of Hawaii and all of the countless other animals that are shown at the Georgia Aquarium collection and which feature in our world's oceans and are such an important part of the global ecology. After you've done contemplating and internalizing the message of this sculpture, I hope you'll go across the park to Georgia Aquarium and contemplate the Ocean Voyager exhibit for a while, which I hope represents our aspirations for the oceans: clear, blue, and teeming with life.